Hey guys! In today's video I want to talk about 6 things I wish I knew before moving to Miami. For those that don't know me, my name is Druck and I'm a realtor with eXp Realty in Miami. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Number 1, the intense heat and humidity. Many people move to Miami for its weather and the sun and the sand, but the intense heat can be a surprise. Sure, most of you know that Florida is hot, but experiencing the mugginess day in and day out is something else entirely. The high humidity levels can make moderate temperatures feel much hotter, affecting everything from your daily comfort to your electricity bill, of course, because your AC will be running 24/7. I can tell you from my own experience, when I first moved to Miami and took my first walk on the beach, I went from store to store because I couldn't be without AC for more than 5 minutes without being absolutely drenched in sweat. Now, number 2 on the list of items that surprised me are seasonal shifts in temperature. Now, Miami is usually hot, and if it's not hot, it's at least warm. However, there are some unexpected seasonal shifts that even Miamians forget about. You might go to the beach one day just to wake up to 50-degree weather the next. Now, for most of you, especially coming from colder climates, it's not a big deal. On the contrary, it's actually a welcome change. However, if you don't expect it, it can be quite cold, especially since our homes are not built for the cold. Yes, your AC can usually heat. If you're, for example, in a small condo in South Beach that has a window unit, which there's still plenty of those, sometimes they do not heat. I remember finding myself in my condo with no heat, and I had nothing that could keep me warm other than either taking a hot bath or turning on my oven and sitting in the kitchen. Quite funny to think back at those times. Fortunately, I'm not in that situation anymore, but that's literally how it is here. When it drops to the 40s or 50s, in a lot of these older buildings, the inside of your apartment will be close to the outside temperature, so just keep that in mind. Another thing that might surprise you is that Miami is really a melting pot of cultures. Everybody, of course, knows that there's a lot of South Americans and Latin Americans here, so you'll hear Spanish everywhere. You'll even pick up a sentence or a few phrases, even if you're not trying to learn Spanish. You certainly will learn a little bit. I find that actually what makes Miami very charming and very unique. I love it. However, it could hit you by surprise if you did not expect it. Aside from South American culture, you'll find a lot of Caribbean culture, you'll find Europeans, you'll find Asians, you'll really find everything. Again, we are a big melting pot, and that's what makes Miami great. Another surprising thing, especially for somebody like me coming from Germany or Switzerland, any country that is known for and values punctuality, is the Miami time. That's a phenomenon that people here certainly know of, but might hit you by surprise. Nobody here is on time except for me. All kidding aside, it is not uncommon for events to start much later than the time that was given. And for everybody, but yourself, unless you're aware of it, to show up an hour or two late. So if you show up on time, you'll find yourself by yourself at many an event. Again, if you're coming from a culture where punctuality is valued highly, then this could be a surprise. It could even be frustrating. However, you will get used to it. And it's actually quite nice, and I have to say way more relaxed, because if you're running a little bit late, it's certainly not a problem. You'll still be in time and nobody will care. Now, everybody I know that's been in Miami for a little while has either learned to love it or is dealing with it one way or another. But keep in mind, punctuality is not one of our strong suits here. Point number 5 is how car dependent the city of Miami is. Our public transportation is next to non-existent. Yes, we have the Metro Mover and the People Mover in downtown, and we have a bus system, but quite frankly, if you're coming from a city like New York, San Francisco, any city really, major metropolitan that has a subway system, you'll find yourself stranded in terms of public transportation. Fortunately, nowadays there are services like Uber and Lyft which fill that void, but again, do not depend on public transportation in Miami. You'll be driving anywhere, and aside from being quite large, Miami is also a city with a lot of traffic. So going from one end to the other in rush hour could take you upwards of 2 hours easily. So that's something you want to plan for in your days. I personally do not go anywhere far during rush hour. Now, if you're coming from a city with great public transportation, that is certainly a bit of an adjustment. Just keep that in mind. And then last but not least is the high cost of living. Now, I've been here for 25 years and I can tell you it hasn't always been that way. When I moved here, Miami, compared to any other major metropolitan area in the US, was considerably cheaper. However, nowadays that is no longer the case. We can keep up with the best of them, and by the best I mean the most expensive. From rent to purchasing homes, to utility costs, to car insurance, health insurance, everything is high priced here. Groceries, dining out, again, expect to spend a pretty penny. If you want more details on that, I have 2 videos that give you all the details on the cost of living, one for renting, the other one for owning a home. I will link them at the end of this video. There you go. Those are my 6 surprising aspects of living in Miami. Of course, for every unexpected challenge, there's an equally wonderful surprise. From the unbeatable nightlife to the wealth of outdoor activities. You like boating? Miami is a city that never stops giving. You can certainly find something for every taste here. If you already live here, I'm sure there are things that surprised you when you first moved here. I would love to know what those were. Please share them in the comments. Now, as usual, if you have any questions, please contact me. My information will be down in the description. And of course, if you find this information at all helpful, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Thanks again for your time and see you on the next video.